Hey everyone, welcome back. Question for you. Do you ever feel like you have been betrayed? I know I certainly have been, and that's going to be our topic of conversation today. But before we dive in, I want to welcome all of you. My name is Ruth Hendrickson. I run RHM International. We have a heart to see the body of Christ really set free and flourishing in who God has called you to be. And so I want to invite you to check out the website, ruthhendrickson.org. While you're there, please sign up for our email list. Join the family. We only send out 1 or 2 a week. And remember, you can always unsubscribe if you find that they are not beneficial. But why not give them a try? So just see what all we have there for you. So again, welcome. Okay, living life when you've been betrayed, dealing through the betrayal, walking through the betrayal, figuring out how to get healing as we walk through that. So here's the thing. I don't think any of us can walk through life without being betrayed. Do you? It's something that we all experience. Now, I also want to say it is painful on every single level. I don't want to bury that. I don't want to cover that up. I just want to put it right out there. Betrayal is painful. And I want us to also understand, I'm not talking about secret sins and somebody revealing your secrets. I'm talking about that betrayal that hits your integrity, that betrayal which is false, that which just goes to the core of your identity. I'm talking about false accusations and having people in your sphere of relationships actually turn on you. And honestly, we need to point out that sometimes we're the culprit and sometimes we're the ones being the betraying because none of us are perfect. And I think if we look back over our lives, we will also find moments where we should have handled things differently. Okay. And so the thing is, we have to understand that there's never a way to justify gossip. We don't want to be the one that causes ungodly divisions. We don't want to be the one who is spewing lies, right? And some of this stuff we think we can get away with it, but the truth is that God sees. And you can just say right now, God sees, because that's an important thing to remind ourselves of is that God does see. He sees everything. We might get away with it with others, but God sees. He saw Joseph. He saw Joseph as he was being betrayed. He saw Joseph as his brothers threw him into the pit. He saw Joseph as Potiphar's wife lied about him. He saw Joseph as he was betrayed and forgotten and in prison and all the things that came with accusations, with betrayal, with being falsely accused. He saw Paul. I've been doing a lot of study in the book of Acts, and over and over and over and over, Paul is having to face false accusations, and he's doing prison time because of false accusations. Again, you can just say right now, God sees, God sees. Jesus was betrayed. Think about this. We all know he was betrayed by Judas. And of course, we know he was actually also betrayed by Peter. I mean, Peter says, oh, I don't know him. I don't know him. He goes, and after walking with the Lord, both of these men walked with our Lord for a few years, and yet both turned their back at various levels and betrayed Jesus Christ. Let's look at another one, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They were quite busy all through scripture, betraying not only Jesus, but they also betrayed numerous others. Okay. And if we want to talk about being the betrayer, just again, go back to Paul. There's all these different nuances, both of people betraying others. Okay. Peter, oh my gosh. So Peter betrayed others, Judas, of course. We could even say Paul was betraying his beliefs before he had the Damascus Road experience. And then later on in his life, he was the one being betrayed. And so we see this all through scripture. So we shouldn't be surprised when we are betrayed. We just want to make sure that we're not the one doing the betraying, right? Okay, yes and amen. And if right now something's stirring in you and you're going through woulda, shoulda, coulda, shouldn't have done that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. It's a great time for forgiveness. Okay, God longs to forgive you. He wants to forgive you. He loves you so much. And he has a fresh start for you. And if you're the one, you're carrying that deep wound because you've been betrayed, which is really what we're talking about today. You've been betrayed. Today is a day for freedom. Today is a day for healing. That betrayal is not meant to follow you through life. That betrayal is not meant to become your identity. Okay, you're to be able to walk free from that. So one of the major challenges we have in walking free from betrayal is not to attach the pain, because again, betrayal is very, very painful. And in the midst of that betrayal, we want to attach to that pain. Everything in us wants to kind of sit there and take it. The other thing is that we cannot allow our belief pattern to be formed around the wounding. Okay, because often with that betrayal, it can become part of our identity. This is some of just the insidious ways that betrayal weaves its way into our life. And of course, in the midst of all this, we have to resist making judgments against the very one who's betraying us. Easier said than done, right? It's a tangled web, and it can really, really trip us up quite easily. And then we have to know if we're supposed to speak or not speak. Okay. So as I was putting this together, I remember a number of years ago, there were a lot of assumptions, and just say assumptions, made about the way I was doing my job. Um, the truth was that there was somebody else who was doing a lot of very unethical things that looked like they could be me, but they were not me. But what happened is even those who I'm untrusted and who I thought trusted me attached me with these things, these unethical things that were going on. And it was a tough season. I was angry. I was hurt. I was frustrated. I wanted to defend myself. I actually got some legal counsel just so that I wouldn't make any wrong moves. I mean, it was that serious. It was that serious. And eventually I went and I left that position by the grace of God. Okay, I knew that I needed to move on. But what was so interesting about that position is that the Lord made it very clear I was to keep my mouth shut. And I was to not to defend myself. There were a few things that I said, but for the most part, I stayed pretty quiet through it. And the reason was because I had leaned back into him and said, what do I need to do in the midst of the pain, in the midst of the betrayal, in the midst of the false accusations? What do I need to do? And the Lord made it very, very clear that he would vindicate me and that my job was to stay quiet and look to him, because betrayal wants to have us look elsewhere other than God. Okay, betrayal, we want to yell, kick, and scream and share our side of the story and be relentless at it until the people see the truth. Betrayal wants to expose, in this case, I would have loved to expose the true culprit behind it, so to say. Betrayal can be all consuming. And yet the Lord said, I want you to look at me and I want you to trust me in this process. And he did. He did. God was very, very faithful. It took a number of years. It was not as quick as I would have liked, but he actually did vindicate me in ways that I could not even envision at the time that I was going through the pain. But I had to work through it. So the whole thing with this, when we talk about betrayal, when we talk about following the Lord, when we've been betrayed, when we find ourselves in that situation, what are some keys? What are some ways that we can walk through it? Number one, we have to put the emotions along with the pain and the desire to defend ourselves off to the side for a moment. Okay, we have to take all that and put it off to the side. Why? Because only when we can take that and put it off to the side can we truly hear God. And this is a season where we desperately, desperately need to hear God. If we don't do that, then what happens is we can likely convince ourselves to handle it our way and probably put some God language on it. All right, to try to help justify it. So in order to get to really the place where we can hear the Lord, we take the emotions, the desire and the pain, and we go, I'm sorry, let me back up. We take the emotions, the pain, and the desire to defend ourselves. There we go. That makes more sense. We take it and we have to put it on a shelf. And we have to turn our focus to the Lord and not even necessarily be rehearsing everything that's happened or how we feel, but we have to begin to get into a space where we can really listen. Or like I said, we're likely, the trap is to go and do it our way and not listen for him and yet put that religious language on it. So number one, put all that junk, all that stuff off to the side. Number two, we have to make a choice to forgive, a very intentional choice to forgive, a very painful choice to forgive. And it can go against everything within us. It's not based on our feelings. Remember, we took those feelings and we put them off to the side, but we're going to stand on the word of God and what the word of God says. Remember, forgiveness is very different than reconciliation. Forgiveness is a gift that is given. Reconciliation stands on trust. Forgiveness takes one, reconciliation takes two. So a lot of people think that forgiving is the same as reconciliation. When you've been betrayed, you may or may not ever be reconciled to the parties involved. Okay, that's a whole nother teaching. But in this situation right here, we have to be able to forgive. And if you don't feel like you can forgive, if that betrayal has been so difficult, then the prayer becomes, Lord, I need your help. Help me get to the point where I can forgive. Help me get to the point where I can begin the process. So forgiveness is absolutely essential. So number one, take the emotions, the pain, and the desire to defend yourself, put them off to the side. Number two, make a choice to forgive. And you can just say right now, choice. You have to make a choice to forgive. Number three, intentionally take time to worship, because worship shifts atmospheres. It shifts external atmosphere. It also shifts internal atmosphere. So take time out and get away to worship. And then number four, get quiet before the Lord and listen for his plan. You know, I think back to that season of my life, and it was hard to stay quiet. I want to be really honest. It was hard to stay quiet. Everything in me wanted to scream. Everything in me wanted to go a different direction. But as I spent time with the Lord, his plan, and just say his plan was for me to stay silent. And his promise, just say his promise was that he would not only restore, but do more than restore. And he was faithful to that promise. Now, years later, of course, something else comes up and I get betrayed again. Because again, remember, we're going to hit this periodically through life. And this time, as I leaned into the Lord, he said that I could speak up. But if we're going to speak up, we still have to take the emotions of pain, the desire to defend ourselves, put it off to the side. We have to make a choice to forgive. We have to take time to worship and shift the atmosphere, and we have to get quiet and listen to the Lord for his plan, because otherwise, when we go to speak, what we say will be fueled, will be driven by the emotion, by the pain, by the frustration, by the anger, rather than from what the Lord says. And so either way, we still need to go through those steps, because it's step number 4 of that where we get his battle plan, whether it's to be silent, whether it's to say something, or it could look different. But we join his hand as we walk through the process. So again, if we truly believe God speaks, if we truly believe that he won't leave us or forsake us, if we truly believe that he's in control, if we truly believe he is who he says he is, then even when we have been betrayed, he is there and he can walk us through. And remember, he understands. He was betrayed by somebody from his close circle, his disciples. He was betrayed with a kiss. And he meets us right in the pain of that betrayal and says he knows, he understands. He will bring healing to us, and he will walk us through. But one more time, number 1, to get there, we have to put the emotions, the pain, and the desire to defend ourselves all off to the side. We make a choice to forgive. We take time to worship, shift the external and internal atmospheres, and we get quiet and we listen. So if you are one who's been betrayed, you're in the middle of that right now, you just feel the pain of that. There are all sorts of betrayal, from children to divorces, from spouses to false accusations. All sorts of different things can come at us, and their forms or types of betrayal. The same thing applies. He will give wisdom. He tells us that he will give wisdom to all who ask for it. But we have to get out of the pain and that yuck of the betrayal to be able to hear his voice as to how we walk through it. So I want you to know there is a hope, there is healing, there is freedom, that he knows, he experienced it himself, he sees, and you are not alone. Just step back, step away so that you can hear him, and then move forward, with how to respond. Yes, you will be betrayed. Yes, you will be betrayed, but you are not created to be labeled by that betrayal. You are not created to carry around like heavy luggage. It's not created to control your life. You are created to heal and be strengthened because of who the Lord is. So I just really want to encourage you today. I know it's kind of a hard topic and can bring up a lot. So I just pray God's peace over each and every one of you right now, whatever level of betrayal that you have experienced or are experiencing, that you would just feel the peace that surpasses understanding, the peace from the Most High God, just circling around you right now, and just breathe it and just receive it. He is faithful. Again, thank you for joining me today. Please visit the website, ruthhendrickson.org. And also please share this, spread the word, let others know about it. We put up a video 5 days a week at 8:15 on both Facebook and YouTube. And then we also have a podcast, Real Truth with Ruth. Would love for you on some of those platforms. You can subscribe on some. You can put comments, some you can rate and review. Would just love to have you do that. And again, please feel free to share it and join the email list. Just go to ruthhendrickson.org. Everyone have a great day. Remember, you are loved. You are highly favored. You are an amazing man of God. You're an amazing woman of God. He has great plans for you. Don't ever stop short.